Hey, yo, what's the deal? That's your boy Tag from Pro Wrestling Tag. You know what I'm saying? As of this recording right now, it is 2:03 p.m., May 11th, 2025. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful day out here in New York. You know what I mean? In Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I'm having an okay day. Nothing really spectacular. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. So before Before I get started, I just want to say, let me give a rest in peace shout out to the homicidal, suicidal, genocidal one Sabu. It's funny because I just made a video on him like not too long ago in my wrestlers who were ahead of their time, and he was one who clearly was ahead of his time. You know, I found out this morning and says he was 60 years old, and he just recently wrestled. This motherfucker just recently wrestled. You know what I mean? So. Like I said, big rest in peace shout out to Sabu. He definitely will be missed. You know, he clearly was one of a kind. You know what I mean? He was a great, he was a great wrestler. You know what I mean? Like, he might have did all the hardcore shit, but he knew how to work. He knew how to work, and yeah, another legend in my, in my era, man, gone, unfortunately. So today I want to do a discussion video, and I definitely will be making, 2 more videos today, cause I got to do laundry tonight. You know what I'm saying? But the discussion video I want to talk about is, cowboy wrestlers that can still work in today's day and age. Now in the description, the title, I put Stan Hansen, Barry Windham, Bobby Duncum Jr., and JBL, right? And it makes sense for me to put those 4 in because those 4, all 4 shared a very, very, very similar gimmick. And ironically enough, all 4 of these men had the same finisher, the clothesline. All 4 of them are from Texas. You know what I mean? Barry Windham, Bobby Duncum Jr., who passed away in 2000. He definitely would have been in WWE. No doubt about it. WWE loved gimmicks like that. The World Wrestling Federation. He would have been a perfect fit for the World Wrestling Federation. Stan Hansen, Barry Windham, Bobby Duncum Jr., and JBL. All 4 of these men had the exact same gimmick, right? With the cowbells and everything. Remember the Blackjacks? They came out, with the cowbells and everything. The cowboy joint. Not no Hangman Adam Page shit. No. Absolutely fucking not. Absolutely not. We're talking about pure wrestlers from Texas. You know what I mean? Like these, these good old boy gimmicks. You know what I mean? These tough Texas bulls and everything else, right? And all 4 of them were fucking great. All 4 of them played football. That's the thing. All 4 of them played football. You know what I mean? They give you that tough Texan, mentality and stuff. And listen, that gimmick can actually work in today's day and age. Kurt, hold on real quick. Yes, sorry about that. All 4 of them played football, right? All 4 of them played football, and that football mentality came in, along with the wrestling. You know what I mean? Good old tough boys and such, and all 4 of them shared the exact same finisher, the clothesline. The clothesline. So could that gimmick still work in today's day and age? Yes, it can. Yes, it can, because we're talking about tough guys who, tough Texans who all they gotta do is just catch you with that fucking clothesline and blah, and that gimmick, period, too. That gimmick basically fits in today's day and age, too. That is a timeless gimmick. The cowboy gimmick, that's a timeless gimmick because, any era can fit, a cowboy gimmick, right? I'm shocked nobody has pulled that off yet. I'm shocked. That gimmick is a gimmick that, can get someone far and such, you know. And I think with that gimmick, that gimmick would be enough to, you know, get someone far in terms of, you know, between main event status and, you know, upper mid card status. You know what I'm saying? And people might think that JBL is like the greatest person of all time with that gimmick. No. When JBL, no. JBL came into the WWE with that gimmick, right? With the bull rope and such, right? But he transformed into JBL when he got the push. And mind you, he no longer was that cowboy. He was basically, you know, the New York snob. You know what I mean? The New York Wall Street snob, right? From the stock market and shit, right? But again, that gimmick works. It works perfectly. It really, really does. You know, I mean, I'm shocked that we didn't see. You know what? You might think I'm fucking crazy, but I can actually see Keith Lee doing that shit because Keith Lee is actually from Texas. You know what I mean? I can actually see Keith Lee pulling that off. You know what I mean? If Keith Lee comes back, right? Because nobody knows his status as we speak. Nobody. I mean, nobody knows about his status, what's going on with AEW and such. You know, I can actually see, you know, Keith Lee pull off a gimmick like that. Yeah, he could do all the flips and shit, but, you know, come with a clothesline and blah, just catch your ass. You know what I'm saying? You know, and on some tough shit, you know? And again, that gimmick can work. Keith Lee played football. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I think it has a lot to do with football players and such. Because again, like when you see Texas, you know, you think of, you know, not only you think of bulls and rodeo, but you think of tough ass motherfuckers. Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, Booker T. You know what I'm saying? All these guys are Texas guys. Mark Henry. Yeah, I mean, I just realized that. Like, all these guys are Texas guys, right? And, you know, with Texas, it's all tough. It's all major tough and such, right? So anyone can pull that kind of gimmick off. Anyone from Texas can definitely pull that kind of gimmick off, right? And so, yeah, like I said, I'm shocked that nobody has even attempted to pull that gimmick off once again. Because again, nobody owns that gimmick. If you think about it, that cowboy gimmick, nobody owns it. Nobody owns it. It's just it's a staple of Texas. It wouldn't feel right if someone from Florida came in and did that gimmick. It wouldn't feel right. It would not feel right. You know, that gimmick fits perfectly with anyone who is from Texas. In my personal opinion. Anyone who's from Texas, that gimmick, you know, with the tenacity, especially if you play football. I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. You know what I mean? Like, that gimmick would fit beautifully, you know, on someone. And I do wish that someone did revive that gimmick, because that is a gimmick that is a lost gimmick. You know what I mean? But it's a gimmick that, like I said, can still work in today's day and age. You don't need to do the flips and all this other bullshit. No. You don't need to do that. You definitely do not need to do that. You know what I mean? You can do flips and such, but that doesn't have to be the arsenal of your, of your moveset. It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It legit doesn't make sense. Just go and, you know, take a motherfucker's head off with that clothesline. Blah! You know what I mean? But I'm about to be out, guys. You know what I'm saying? I definitely will be coming with some more videos today for sure. You know what I mean? So I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace.